Okay, ooh, wow. All right, so that took a lot of heat to get this sleeve out. A lot of heat now. It's hard to see there, but damn. These two, I can't see if this, you can see this or not. These two holes are the exhaust port side. So here's the intake hole. It's very large. I don't know about getting this connecting rod off and piston out now. Hopefully it'll come right out. Okay. Man, this is really, really hot still. So here's our piston, rearward facing. And I think now you can kind of clearly see how domed up this piston is. So I'm going to put this part in the ultrasonic cleaner. You can see an oil slit there, and maybe the bottom just, oh, it's slit for oil cooling on both sides instead of holes. It looks like these are probably held in with pins. Oh no, they're tiny little E-rings, or not the pinch rings, tiny little clips. There's no way in hell I'm taking those out because I do not have the right tool. I don't have pin pliers small enough to get in there, so this is going to have to go in there just like that. And I accidentally turned the camera off, and I did that. All I did was tap it with this because it was so here's our rear bearing. Still feels fine. I may just drop it in alcohol. Front bearing out. So now I can pull this thing out. Maybe. Just your standard little cutout curved thing to pull your carb in place. Now I can throw this thing in the ultrasonic and all these components and throw them in. I won't throw those in. Throw this head in and its screws because they're all bunged up. Or not bunged up, but they have a bunch of garbage on them. So we can clean these parts up and see what it looks like here in a bit. Okay, as normal with these disassemblies and cleanings that I do, I usually show the parts after they've come out of the cleaner, and here it is again. So here's the case. I mean, it really wasn't all that dirty. It had some, you know, a little bit of gunk and grime in the cooling fins, but other than that, it really wasn't bad. Now it's got this sheen on it because I always like to just kind of put a coat of oil over everything my finger can touch. And I just kind of oil it all up. Why I do that, I do the inside, why I do the outside, I don't know, I just do. So that's the crankcase. Here's the head. The head really didn't look all that bad to begin with either. It might have had a little bit of gunk in there. Here's our crankshaft. Looks brand new. I mean, this engine really didn't look like it had a whole lot of runtime on it. Here's the rear bearing. I just kind of put on some oiled up 1000 grit sandpaper and just kind of cleaned the outer portion of it, and then I lubed it up, and this thing is a really nice bearing. The front bearing, this is exactly as it came out. Shield removed from the back, only the front was shielded. Our piston cylinder sleeve assembly. Now this piston is exactly as it came out of the engine. It's got these cutouts, and here's our exhaust port, and our R denoting rearward facing area. Now this sleeve was a very tight fit, and I did go around it with some oiled up 1000 grit sandpaper and clean the outside up real good. Here's what the piston top looks like. probably dumb. I should have done that. But the piston didn't come as clean as I would have hoped, but I didn't really expect much more than that. The top, you can kind of see how it's domed there. So this thing is basically, let's see here, went like this, ready to be reassembled, and the piston pin is pinned. The piston ring is pinned in one position. So this is how it's going to go back in there. And the only thing that's left to do now really is reassemble the engine. And you can see how nicely that just slid right in place. So that's our clean parts for this engine. Whether I'll show the reassembly or not, I'm not sure yet. It kind of depends on what I'm doing later today. But anyway, that's the internal lookings of a RJL, or not RJL, Kraft 61 engine. Here's that carb barrel also again. Really nothing to see here other than it's clean. It really wasn't ever dirty to begin with. But yep, so that's pretty much where we stand with this project here.